What's up, guys? Zaid here, and today I'm going over the Sky Striker deck that I've been playing on the dueling book for a couple days. This list I really like, and I really enjoy Sky Striker. I'm glad Engage is back. This deck's really fun to fucking play, and it just has answers for days to whatever your opponent tries to do. So to start, we've got infinite hand traps. I've got 3 Ash, 2 DD Crow, 3 Veiler, 2 2 Ghost Bell Haunted Mansion, and then 2 Skullmeister. Ash is a 3 of because I really like this card's just really good. I really like it. It's generic. It hits everything. And then 3 Veiler. I really enjoy this card also. A lot of people play at least 1 to 2 for the Celine combo. But I liked it at 3 because I'm not playing Imperm because Imperm dies to back row hate games 2 and 3 and people side that in for this deck. And also because I like having it so that I don't banish them off Desires. Like I constantly want to have access to the access code play with Needle Fiber and Celine. And there's also been times where it came up where I'd be out of them in deck, but as long as I drew one and used it, I was still able to do the combo. Because like in grind games, if they've got a Fire Tuner, aka Ash Engrave, I play Hita. So like I'd make a Hita, which is a spellcaster, summon their Ash, and then be able to make Celine because I hard drew the Veiler. I can then just use what's it called? Use Celine to bring the Veiler out and then go into access code. So it's just like drawing it makes the combo live later on in the duel anyways. You don't need it in deck always. There are times to do it then. And the reason I have a 2-2-2 split on these guys is because I'm not sure which ones are better and against what. So right now I'm just playing 2 of each so that I can kind of get a feel for them. With the little bit that I've learned so far is that DD Crow feels really stinky against Tri Brigade, whereas the other 2 feel really good against it. And but DD Crow feels really powerful against Drytron, whereas was it Bell? I think my Bell kind of sucked against Drytron. But the DD Crow and the Skullmeister felt a lot more powerful. And Bell also is really cool, though, because it can stop cards like Call By and opposing DD Crows. Each one has a lot of merits to it, and I'm trying to learn which one I like best. Next, for the Striker monsters, I got the 3 Ray, of course, and only 1 Rose. I've seen people play more Rose. Like, I don't really see anyone play 3, but there are people that play 2. And I would consider a second. The only card that I have in the main deck that I think is pretty questionable to me is this Triple Tactics Talents. It's been really back and forth. Like it's either insane or dead. And if I were to cut those, I think it would be for a second Rose and potentially to move this Jamming Wave to the main. But right now they're staying in the main for now. I want to test it more. But I don't mind 1 Rose. Some people would argue that if you play more, you're going to have better hands. Like it makes it so you less often have hands where you can't access Sky Strikers. But I play enough hand traps, and then like this next card you hear Mystic Minds to like stun them out of the game. So even if I'm not playing, they're not playing, and then I'll hopefully draw into these cards. And it's also good because it's an out to Dragoon and stuff like that. And it's just a very powerful card. Also play a Rhoda, so we play a 5th one technically. And then the Hornet Drone too. So we have 6 Sky Striker monsters, which feels like enough to me. If I don't draw one, hopefully I'll draw one soon after. And then 1 Heavy Storm Duster, 3 Mystic Mine, and Terraforming in a set rotation that goes with the Mystic Mine, along with 2 Area 0. I like the big hefty field spell package just because like this deck is meant to go second. I don't remember if I said that at the start of this or not, but it's a going second striker list. And I really enjoy the Mystic Mine. So why not play 5 copies of it? And if they have an out to one of them, you just have a second one. If you open multiples, it's kind of neat. And set rotation is really powerful because you get to give them the area 0 too if you give yourself the Mystic Mine, or you can give yourself the area 0 and then the mine, which I'd rather not do that one. But then you can use a card like Afterburner, pop a monster, and then pop the spell. And now, because you gave them 0 and you popped it, you're playing. I had a game where the way that I started to play the game was I set rotation, gave myself mine, gave it to them, gave them the area 0, and then Feather Duster, their back row, and then get to proc my field spell also. And it was batshit crazy. It's a good card. I like the set rotation in the mines. And then, yeah, the 2 area 0, I don't think 3 is that important. There's not a lot of times where you don't actually at all want to see multiples of this card. I don't play many cards that'll proc it. Like, I don't main MST or anything. to destroy my own area 0. And so it's not often I've even resolved the effect to float. I just kind of use it to look at the top 3, get a card, cycle through. And then 2 desires. You could play 3. I don't think I'd want to play 3. Reason being because this deck, you draw a lot off of engage, so if you're more likely to draw into the extra desires, and you don't really want to activate a second at all during any duel. And then you also, like, being a deck that constantly is searching off engage, with that being what you do, I don't really like banishing a lot of the search targets. It kind of kills my grind game, and I'm a grind deck. So it just, I only want to resolve 1. I don't want to see the second. I only play 2. And 2 afterburners. I really enjoy this card too. You just get to break boards, pop back row occasionally. It's all around good card. And like I said, I kind of want to also be playing Jamming Waves. I'm not yet. It might make its way to the main. Who knows? But then 2 Shark Cannon and 3 Widow as my interruption Sky Striker cards. Like, I maybe would want a 3rd cannon at some point. The card is really good, but I don't really know. You use it offensively and defensively. You can either, like, break Drytron Graves or break the Tri-Brigade Graves. But it's just really good, but it doesn't do anything on its own, so I don't think I'd want multiples. And it's not the biggest interruption, but like I said, you can use it offensively and defensively. You can either disrupt their graveyard, or you can summon back tuners to go for access code plays. So it's really useful in that regard. And 3 Widow Anchor is just insane. Go in second, you break boards with it, and then you could set it to stop them from putting up even more of a board. It's just a very powerful card. That's another thing in regards to Shark Cannon. Because I opt to go second, this isn't the best card in a going second hand. If you were going first, I might want more so that I could set them as interruptions, but going second, I'm going to be probably trying to proc it to bring a guy back, and if I'm not doing that, there's not that much value with it being in your hand. You could search it after you break their board, but it doesn't do much before then. And then the 1 multi-roll and the 1 engage, the best cards. Engage, like, is really nice having this card back, and it's just increases your grind game a lot, and it also lets you kill them sooner, because you get more cards. Who doesn't love more cards? Multi-roll, cards at 1, you got to play it at 1. And then the Triple Tactics Talent, this card, like I said, is kind of questionable. Sometimes it resolves, sometimes it sits in your hand dead, depends on the deck you play against, but right, I'm going to keep testing it until I have more feedback on it. And then I have 1 Upstart Goblin, 39 cards. It's a spell engrave. I really like it. And then the extra deck, there's that access package I was talking about. Though mine's a little bigger than other people's because I have the access, the Halki Fibrax, the Selene, and then also the Hita. And then the Hita also can come up to make this card here, the Ningirsu. So the cards, this like little 5-card package is just for outing Dragoon or problem cards or going for game with the access code. And these cards are very powerful. I think every striker list plays it. The only real difference in my extra deck compared to others, everyone plays Halki Fibrax, Selene, and access code. I don't think everyone plays Hita. I don't know if I've actually seen Hita play recently, but I really like it. And then some people play Ningirsu, but these 2 spots can either be the 3rd Hayate, it could be a Phoenix, and that's all I can really think of that would be played over them right now. And then so I play only 2 Hayate, even though I'm going second list. You'd think this is like the most important one. I feel like once you resolve it once, you're basically set up. Like, at that point, you have access to engage now. Back when we didn't have engage, you would want the 3rd because you can't. This is how you searched cards. You would send them and then add them back. But now, once you get your engage in rotation, you have access to everything. So I don't feel as if I need the 3rd Hayate ever. But then we still do have 3 Kagari, 3 Shizuku, and then I have 1 Kaina and 1 Zeke. Kaina and Zeke don't come up that often, but you still want them for like the instances that they do. And then Hita or Hayate, I feel like I only need 2. 3rd hasn't really came up. And then the side deck, this changes based on where you play. Like if you're playing online, if you're playing at your local scene, what everyone's got. But for me, I got 3 Cycle Reader for the Drytron matchup. This card is just I play 6 graveyard interruption cards, and this is those on steroids in that matchup. And then 3 Nibiru just for any deck that it hurts, like any deck that's a combo deck like Drytron. I'm probably gonna side this in for more interruptions against. And then I've got the forbidden droplets for decks that make like unbreakable boards that I don't want to try to play through. I'll side this in and then not have to play through them. It also discards spells, which loads your grave up, which is pretty nice. 2 shared ride, which I'll probably end up cutting. This is like for the mirror match, most notably, because even though I go second, you grind with a deck like the mirror match, and so this card in that grind game is going to blow them out of the water. They're going to activate engage, and you're going to be like, hey, I also am going to draw, and so this card is pretty nice. And then the one jamming waves, which I kind of want to main, but I'm not sure. It might find its way in. It's really good. And then it's also a Dragoon out, I believe, which is pretty. Oh no, Dragoon can't be destroyed. Never mind. But in 3 Typhoon, this is most notably for Anti-Spell and Imperial Order. I wasn't playing these at first, and then I got blown out by a couple orders, so now they're in the side deck. And that's about everything on this list. I'll probably do some duels with this deck on here eventually too. I've been playing it a lot. I really enjoy this deck. But there's also other decks that I want to try, so I guess we'll kind of see how that goes. But thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Try the deck out, and peace.